Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, OpenAI recently released the model they use for ChatGPT as I'm going to call my application GPT 3.5 and make sure to accept the terms of service and click create. Once you have your application created, go to the bot section on the left-hand side of your screen and click add bot. Then click on yes, do it. This should create your bot's account. From here, you can go ahead and give your bot an avatar and change its username. However, I'm just going to leave this the way it is. Next, scroll down and I'm going to disable public bot. Turning off this option means only I can invite this bot. This is your personal preference, however. Next, scroll down further and enable all three of these intents options. These options will make sure your bot is receiving all the required information from the Discord API. Now we're going to be inviting this bot to our server. So make sure you have a server ready for testing your new Discord bot. To invite your bot, head over to the OAuth 2 section on the left-hand side of your screen and click on URL generator. Under scopes, go ahead and choose bot. And if you're going to be adding slash commands to your bot, make sure you also enable application.commands. Now scroll down and select the permissions you want your bot to have. Of course, I only recommend giving it the permission to send messages because if it does have enough permissions, then people can potentially abuse your bot and make it ping everyone. This has happened in my server once, but luckily it was my friend who caught on to it and notified me. Anyway, copy the link that you get down here. And what I like to do is head over to Discord and paste the link, then click on this and invite the bot directly from here. You'll notice now the bot has joined your server, and if you click on it, you'll notice that it's offline. Don't worry, we'll work on that in just a moment. With your bot added to your server, we can go ahead and deal with our OpenAI account. So now head over to platform. Using this shortcut throughout this video. Now let's initialize a new npm project by typing npm init-y. We'll now install a few packages. So type out npm install discord.js, OpenAI, and .env. The installation will take some time depending on your internet speed. Once it is downloaded, go ahead and create a new file in the root directory of your project called .env. Here we're going to store all our environment variables. The first thing we're going to add is token, which is going to be our Discord's bot token. So head back to the Discord developer portal, go back to the bot section on the left-hand side of your screen, scroll up and click on reset token. Once you reset your token, go ahead and copy this, then head back to Visual Studio Code and paste it over here. We're also going to create another variable called API key, and this will be our API key from OpenAI. So let's go back to our browser and go back to OpenAI. From here, go to API keys and click on create new secret key. Now go ahead and copy this key and back in your code editor, go ahead and paste this in the .env file. These values are important information, so make sure you don't share it with anybody else. After this video is done, I'm going to go ahead and reset both of them. We also have to create one last variable called channel_ID, and we're going to set this to the ID of the channel where we want our AI bot to work. So I'm going to go back to Discord, and let's say I want my bot to work in this channel. So I'm going to right click this and click copy ID, head back to our code editor, and I'm going to paste the ID over here. So save your file and you can close out of both the files that we just opened. And now in your root directory is an array. Let's go ahead and get the first element and we're going to get the message from it. Now go ahead and save your file. And if we now run our bot using node index.js, once the bot is online, let's go to Discord and test our bot out. I'm going to try saying, hey, how are you? And our bot is going to first pretend to be typing. And once the response was generated, our bot is going to reply with it. And it does seem to be working perfectly fine. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and make it hold conversations with people. So the way we can do that is we can fetch previous messages based on the person who sent the latest message. Back in our code, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this send typing. Actually, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to go ahead and put it right after defining conversation log. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a variable called previous messages. And we're going to set this to await message.channel.messages.fetch. And we're going to pass in an object with a limit of 15. This means our bot is going to fetch 15 of the previous messages to add to this conversation log. Now we're going to go ahead and reverse these previous messages because they are sorted in latest to oldest order. So I'm going to go ahead and say previous messages dot reverse, and we can now loop through all of these messages and push them to the conversation log. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say previous messages for each, and we're going to refer to each of the messages as MSG, basically short for message. And as we did here before, if the message content starts with an exclamation point, then we want to ignore that completely. So let's go ahead and add that line of code. Now what we want to do is we want our bot to ignore other bots, but not itself. So the way we can do that is we can say if message author ID is not equal to client user ID and message author is a bot. If that is the case, we can return. Finally, because we're trying to hold only a single conversation with one person, we can say if message author ID does not equal to message author ID, then we can return as well. So if a new person is trying to send a message, we're not going to be using anybody else's user ID in this conversation log. However, you can feel free to, of course, modify this to your liking, but this is all the conditions that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push this to conversation log using conversation log.push, and then we're going to push it as an array. The role is going to be user, and the content is going to be message.content. And outside of this for each